Hey Rooted family, Kevin here again, this time with a video on sort of best practices for doing video ministry. I know that a lot of us are scrambling to try and figure out what we can do to get decent video to our congregants and to our students. I know that a lot of youth pastors also are right now the default tech person as well, and so I hope that this video is helpful in sort of helping you gain a foothold on what's important and what's not important as we try to learn everything that we need to learn to make this possible. So let me go ahead and free you from that pressure and burden, first of all, just to encourage you that you can't learn everything there is to know, and to get all the equipment and all the team members together that, will be able to provide the production that some of the big ministries are able to do. Most of us are going to be a one-man team, and our audiences are going to know that. So let me go ahead and take the pressure off of you right away. That said, I want to go ahead and start with the most important thing when it comes to making videos for ministry. And this may surprise you, but it actually has nothing to do with what you're seeing on the screen. The most important thing that you have to pay attention to in video ministry is actually audio. We live in an interesting world where people can enjoy million-dollar TV productions and iPhone YouTube videos. People can handle video that's adequate or even subpar, but subpar audio is something that will cause people to actually turn video off after a while. So imagine if the entire video that I'm recording right now sounded like this. Would you be able to watch 10 or 15 minutes of teaching if it was sounding entirely like this? Probably not. So regardless of the video quality, it's going to be really important for us to focus first on audio quality. So there's a couple of things to keep in mind. If you're going to be recording your video at home with your phone, which a lot of people are recommending right now, you do have a few low-cost options. My number one choice is actually a lavalier mic with the decent cable length. So I have a link for this guy on the video, underneath the video in the notes. But this is basically what I'm using right now. So just clip onto the shirt or whatever you're wearing, and then the cable goes under my shirt down to the floor, and then the other side connects to the camera that I'm using. If you have an iPhone, you can attach whatever headphone adapter you need to, and this can go directly into your phone. This shouldn't cost more than $20 to $40, kind of depending on the design of the one that you have. With regards to placement, it's going to be important that you make sure that hair doesn't brush across it. They are pretty sensitive because they're designed to pick up voice and everything that's pretty close to it. Cloth movements, any sort of rustling that's going on around where the microphone is, it's going to pick up all of that. So placement's going to be pretty important. Another option that you have with regards to video is what we call a boom mic. There's lots of different types. There's ones that are a little bit on the cheaper side and they're a little bit shorter. The more professional ones are going to be super duper long. They have adapters to be able to use these kinds of microphones with your iPhones. They also have ones, I personally don't have one to show you right now, but I can set up a couple links to show you ones that plug it directly into, let's say, the lightning port on your iPhone. And those are pretty good. They'll help you kind of drown out environmental noise. So it'll cut out a lot of the echo that might be in the room that you're recording in. So those are also pretty decent options. With regards to video, there's a couple of different things to think about. Number one is actually lighting. So you don't have to buy a lighting kit. Right now I'm recording in my dining room. Again, no lighting kit. It just happens to be a place that has pretty good natural lighting, and the way the lights are in here provides a nice even coverage. There's no real shadows across my face or anything weird, and the lighting is nice and even. So that's going to be pretty important. If you can't buy lights, just go and find a place that has really good natural lighting. The second thing to consider is stability. You're going to want to make sure you have some sort of tripod. Again, if you're recording with your phone, you're going to want to have some sort of smartphone mount that's going to allow your phone to be able to fit onto a tripod. With regards to the different sort of cameras, I know a lot of people are trying to find out if they need to upgrade and buy new cameras and stuff. I think smartphone recordings are great. We're used to that in our culture right now. It's totally adequate and it's fine. You can definitely get more options. There's things like DSLRs. The issue though is that it's a lot of money. and I don't know that that's necessarily something that you need to spend money on right now. You're probably good to go with a smartphone. Again, as you progress and as you get better, it'll probably make more sense for you to upgrade your video. But for now, I think learning the basics with a smartphone is the best way to go. What about live streaming? Well, when it comes to live streaming, your smartphone is your best friend. These devices can allow you to live stream directly to Instagram, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff. But again, you're just gonna wanna make sure you pay attention to your audio. If you're using your smartphone, let's say in your sanctuary, to go ahead and live stream a service, if there's a way for you to be physically near enough the soundboard to be able to run a cable from the soundboard to your phone, that's gonna give you the best possible audio. If that's not possible, again, maybe getting a mini boom mic that can fit onto the end of your phone is going to be really helpful, just with regards to capturing the sound that's inside of your sanctuary naturally, but without a lot of the boominess that big spaces kind of bring to audio. If your church doesn't have to live stream, I do recommend pre-recording your worship experiences online. That just allows for more flexibility. You can record video and you can record audio separately, especially if your setups are far away. So if your sound mixer is like on the second floor in the back of the room or something like that, and your camera has to be relatively close to the front, what you could do is actually record the sermon audio and the music audio and all of that stuff directly onto a computer or a laptop or whatever you have in the back of the sound booth. And then you can go ahead and combine that cleaner audio with the audio that's coming from your smartphone and sync that together in your video editing software. Again, that does require you to know a little bit more about software and things like that, but you'll have the ability to have really high quality video and really high quality audio at the same time, and that's going to make the online worship experience for your ministry, for your student ministry, for your church a lot better and easier for everyone to really pay attention and focus. One other thing that I'd recommend with regards to phone setups is going to be an external battery. So it's going to be really important, especially if you're live streaming, that you have enough juice for your phone. Charging your phone to 100% doesn't necessarily guarantee that it's going to last a full hour or hour and 15-minute long live stream service. So you're definitely going to want to have an external battery connected if possible. What about editing? If you have a Mac, iMovie on the Mac is definitely the free option, and it's the way to go. They have student discounts though for Final Cut and Logic if you wanted to go that route too. I think the normal cost for each of those apps is like $300 a piece, but the student discount allows for you to buy the entire suite of professional apps for just $200. These software suites allow you to basically take the video that you've shot on your phone or on another camera, the audio that you've pulled from your audio board, combine it all into the software, add a graphic for your church at the front end, at the back end. If there's any mistakes or things that you want to edit out, you can go ahead and do that in software. If you have a Windows computer, Windows Movie Maker is now discontinued, but if you still have that on your computer, that's actually really, really good basic software. It's got a lot of the basic features that you need to be able to do simple stuff. Another decent editor on Windows is actually a software called VideoPad. I have a link to that also down below, and you can go ahead and grab that. It's totally free, and it has a lot of the same exact features that Windows Movie Maker does. What about video settings? On your smartphone, you have the ability to record in 4K. You definitely don't need to record in 4K. 4K video is just right now really, really big. The file sizes are humongous, which means that it's going to be harder for your congregants to stream, especially those with slower internet connections. So I recommend just recording everything in 1080. You can go ahead and record in 1080 30 frames per second. That's going to give you nice smooth video. If you want a slightly more filmic look, you can go for 24 frames per second. But again, I think for most of the applications that we're looking at, which is teaching, which is going to be a live worship setting or streaming or something like that, go ahead and record in 1080, 30 frames per second. What about for hosting small groups? I think definitely during this time we should all be doing our best to try to attempt at some sort of video small group. We're made in the image of God, and it's crucial that we live as we're created to, which is in community. And right now, video conferences can help us to be as incarnational as possible. And at this moment, I think Zoom meeting is probably the way to go. I said in my first video that they've lifted the 40-minute limit on free accounts. Right now, I'm actually not sure if this is still true, but basically, if you have a Zoom account and your meeting reaches the 40-minute limit, there's a little pop-up that happens that basically says you're reaching your 40-minute limit, but you can go ahead and dismiss that right now and you can just keep going. So the limit seems to be going away. However, I've been reading certain people that have been saying that that hasn't been the case for them. Apparently Zoom, because they're super popular right now and everyone's using them, their servers are being hit pretty hard. And so I don't know if that's something that they're limiting for a certain number of accounts, for new accounts maybe, but for the time being, it seems as at least anecdotally that it is still in place. Zoom meeting allows you to go into breakout rooms as well. So you can do teaching maybe for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then all the students that are in your Zoom video conference, let's say you have maybe 20 students, if you want to break them up into smaller discussion groups, Zoom allows you to go ahead and do that. One last thing with regards to hosting online small groups, it's come to our attention that because you are video conferencing with minors, this is sort of a legal gray area, and it's probably best for all of our ministries to get parental permission first. So before you have video conferences with your students, it's best to go ahead and just set up a little bit of legal language that allows your parents to give you explicit permission to be able to have yourself and your small group leaders actually do video conferences with your students. When should we post this stuff up? Whatever your time commitments were before your physical meetings were canceled, I would actually suggest trying your best to continue to keep these rhythms going. We don't know how long things will be like this. It could be towards the end of March, it could be end of April, it could go beyond that. But truly, in the midst of uncertainty and anxiety, consistency from church leadership is going to be very, very, very helpful for your students and for your congregants. So if you have other resources you normally send out to your parents, go ahead and send those out in the normal rhythms that you are. If you have a Wednesday night youth night or a Sunday night youth night, it'd be best to try to do sort of your video conferences and have resources like your online worship experiences available, even if they're pre-recorded, to have them available during the times that you guys would normally be physically gathering. I hope all of this was helpful to you as you seek to be present with your students and their families. In the coming days and weeks to come, if we're being perfectly honest, we don't know how long this is going to last. But as complicated as this may seem, as technical as it may be, and as daunting as it may seem to try to move our youth meetings and our youth nights into an online video format, I just want to encourage you that as more and more things get canceled and more things get postponed for our students, they're going to be discouraged and they're going to be disappointed. But the fact that you're trying to connect with them during this time is going to mean the world to them. And all of our effort to do this, to be with our students, even though we physically can't be with them, it's totally going to be worth it in the end. And so I just want to encourage you to keep going, keep trying to connect with our students. They need us more than ever before. So God bless you. God bless the families and the students that you're going to be trying to minister to.